Hello, everyone. Welcome to Witches and Warlocks. I am the Blackfit Witch.
And I am Galactic Honey.
And this is Witches and Warlocks. So, Witches and Warlocks, we discuss divine conversations around divine partnerships. And today we're going to talk about numerology, astrology, and human design and how that has an impact, or we're going to see does it have an impact or not, with your relationship, with your divine connection, with your divine counterpart in your spiritual partnership. So, going through looking at numbers, looking at the alignment of the stars when you were born, when your partner was born. I even went back and looked at my parents and looked at, their astrology, looking at their natal chart, kind of looking at their Venus, what signs their Venus was in. I also looked at their sun sign, their moon sign, looking at their anniversary date, like looking at all of those different times that they came into connection, one person connecting with the other person. Is this divinely ordered? Really looking at, hey, is this a divine connection? Is this really divinely ordered? How are we connecting with these people? Are the stars aligning for us to actually connect with the person that we're connecting with? So we're going to look at that. We're also going to look at the numerology aspect of it, looking at your birthday, getting the birthday for you, your divine partner, and also within the current year. And seeing, and I know Galactic Honey is going to go over, like seeing what years you all are in balance, what years that you may be in a chaotic frequency, seeing if that matches up. Sometimes you'll have years that are trial, and this is really good for people who've been in relationships for a while or in spiritual partnerships or in marriages, and you can kind of look at it's kind of like when I do the I Ching divination, and you're looking at your years to really see, hey, is this going to be the year of the horse? Is this going to be a trial year where I'm have to work really hard with my career, my relationship? So also looking at the human design, looking at that. I know Galactic Honey, she does the human design and the astrology, numerology. I'm an extreme novice when it comes down to astrology. I'm just a star seed, like just floating around in this realm. I'm like, whatever feels good in my gut, I just roll with it. But it did come up to me to look at the astrology. I had a friend that was she brought up the Venus sign. She was like, my Venus in Gemini. And I said, yeah, my Venus in Gemini too. And then I was like, and I also had looked up my divine partner, and I looked up his Venus sign. His Venus is in Virgo. And so I was looking up and looking at our natal chart, looking at our Mercury, looking at Venus, looking at his ascending, and just seeing how it connects. And I was like, oh, not only does it connect, but for me, I would say it has taught me love language. So within looking at the astrology of him, I also get to reflect back and say, hey, this is why he reacts to this, or this is, the type of affection that he values. This is the type of connection that he values. Then I get to look at mine and I'm like, okay, this is why sometimes I may be, pushing away or moving away or feeling disconnected because I have the Venus in Gemini where I may get bored. I may seek more excitement. For him, it's more technical, it's more logical, it's more rooted and grounded within a connection. And the way that he expresses his affection and his romantic side is very different than from the Venus and Gemini. So I was just looking at that because it made so much sense to me on looking at the way that he expresses and the way I express, and that Venus, just looking at the Venus in that particular zodiac sign, just gave me so much more clarity within my relationship. And I was looking at, hey, the way that I need to respond, because he his love language is more of accolades, verbal communication, just showing, verbalizing the affection, or that he's done good, or that I appreciate, him just showing that he's trying to make an effort to make me feel safe and loved, and it's in a very calculated, technical type of way, right? And then with mine, I'm looking for stuff all the time. Like, it's got to be instantaneous, like immediate, like affection. I'm gonna get bored and I'm like, okay, what is going on? Why you not doing this? Why you not doing that? And I don't want to go have somebody else do this for me. So I need you to get on board. And so his is more calculated, and I'm more ongoing. Like, I need this consistently. So with the communication, me sharing that, and I haven't shared with him the astrology, but I'm going to share with him because I think it'll help him really make sense of the way that I am. Anything. Like, he can help make sense of me because he said that, don't change what you're doing. But I do like for people to understand who they're dealing with. And that's the whole reason why we have the witches and warlocks conversation, is because not only are you learning yourself, like we're learning ourselves through these connections, but we also are learning how, within who we are, coming into a connection with someone who is different, and I would say, or not even different, kind of like the mirror, or mirror of who you are. How do I take what I've been doing all of my years and learning who I am, and kind of change or adapt or learn how to really be in a connection with someone who may not go about the way they express love, affection, their romantic side. And that's kind of like sometimes what happens in relationships, is that people don't know who they're with. They really haven't done any type of research on who they are with. Like, they'll know a birthday, but past knowing the person's birthday and anniversary, they don't know themselves, nor do they know who they are with. So not only learning what your signs are, because I started looking at our natal chart, back to back, and I just started doing some intuitive guidance and showing me what is this, and then I started looking up different videos on his Mercury, on his sun sign, just to help me be able to nurture the relationship. So I think at least one of the partners has to have that awareness to show up in a way that is beyond just a connection, and just, I enjoy you because I feel this magnetizing energy towards you. But let me do research. Like, because relationships are never ending, they're always evolving. Let me do some research on me. Let me know my human design. Let me know my numerology. Let me know who I am at my core. And then let me find out who I'm dealing with. And it goes beyond just saying we're going to be compatible, because I don't believe, this is me personally, I don't believe what they share online on all of these sites about compatibility between various zodiac signs matters. None of that matters. It's giving you, I would say this, it matters to a point. It's giving you the opportunity to understand what you are facing, so you can become more mature in your awareness and know how to deal with it. And that's how I see my natal chart. That's how I see our Venus signs. That's how I see everything. Like, this is just giving me an understanding and knowing how to deal with it. Not that, ooh, this is bad, this is gonna happen to me. Like, ooh, I shouldn't be with him because he's a Sagittarius and I'm a Libra and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not about that. Doesn't matter the sign. Do I understand who he is as a Sagittarius and who I am as a Libra? You know what I'm saying? Like, as an example, and then getting a little deeper beyond the sun, looking at ascendant, looking at your north node. Where are you going to? Like, I'm going to Leo. So it's kind of like, wow, he's going to Pisces. So it's understanding, where are we going, and where do we come from? So looking at all of that, it's research, just like in school, and you doing papers, and you learn about this, and in your job, and in degrees, certifications, you doing research so you can do your job better. And so that's all it is. This is research, numerology, astrology, human design. All of this is research so you can do your job better as an evolved being, no matter what you are, star seed, angelic, fairy, witch, warlock, whatever you see yourself as, whatever star system you're from, you're in a physical form at this point. So, how can you take what you cultivated into a physical form and make it better within coming together in a divine connection? So that's how I see all three of these, and I'm gonna let Galactic Honey share her side.
You made some really good points, especially like how you broke them down. You made some really good points because astrology isn't the all end all be all. It is, these are energies that we are working with. So astrology is important because it tells us where the stars were aligned at the time you were born, right? Which is important. um this goes back to how some people who do galactic, what is it called, where do they do your galactic identity and what star system you come from. These people who are blessed with these types of gifts, these are, they use astrology as a base, as a foundation to get to the other information that is embedded within them. um a lot of people start to, when they start astrology, I remember when I was little, I loved astrology. I could tell you that if you was a Pisces, I'm cool. Like I know your mood swings. I know how you work. You know what I'm saying? If you was a Leo, I was like, my little sister was a Leo, so I was like, you just spoiled rotten. You know what I'm saying? Like I dived into astrology at a very early age, and I remember I was gifted this astrology book, and I cannot tell you where that book is. I have looked for it for years. It's not here. I believe somebody stole my
Who
book.
took that book?
It was, I'm talking about, it went in depth on your birthday, on your sign. Like it went in depth on all of it. Like it was pages about your birthday. It was pages, and I don't even remember the name of it. And if I wish that I could get my hands on that book again, because it was so pivotal at the time of where I was learning about astrology. I needed that book. Like, because and it was so funny how it was gifted to me. Somebody was about to throw it away.
Mm.
I was just like, I'm like, your mom finna throw this away. And she was like, yeah, she told me to put it in the box. I said, ask her, can I have it? Like, let me have it. Because no, ma'am, we cannot throw that away. I need whatever information is in
Mhm.
this book. And although I didn't agree with everything that was being said in the book, I realized that over time, as I got older, that certain things started to apply. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is about how we grow, how the people that we turn into. And so astrology is really good because it lets you know, see, everything works off of numbers. Everything works off of numbers. This whole matrix works off of numbers. You are coded with numbers. Okay. This is where numbers come from. Us. You are coded with numbers. And numbers in astrology, when you with the number of how many degrees where the sun was when you were born at this time, like the degrees on your birth chart are so important, because when you break down, I have broken down a whole astrology chart of just the numbers of the houses, all of the degrees on the houses, and broke it all the way down, and was able to come into information that I felt like was kind of locked away. Like I was like, dang, how can I see all of this? When I look at numbers, I see those things. So astrology in a way is almost, it's close to numerology, but in a different way. This just puts a name on it, Sagittarius. You know what I'm saying? And it was so funny that you said Sagittarius, because my ex-husband is Sagittarius. And I just decided to do his birthday because I've done it before, but I never done ours together the year that we met. And I just found something pretty interesting. Okay. when we go to numerology, right? Um, oh, astrology also is a way for you to see how these energies are working with you. Like when you said, I'm a Leo going into Pisces, right? Or what was the sign that you said? Leo going into.
Yeah, he's a Leo sun, but his north node is going into Pisces.
Yeah, and you going
Hmm.
into
And
Leo.
I'm going into Leo.
So that's like, okay, so astrology works like this. Leo is the main character. Okay. So she's going into the main character like that. Okay. Pisces is the most spiritual sign. This is where God is. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like they call us the closest thing you get to God is Pisces, right? The energy, you've already mastered Pisces in your chart. Remember, we was talking about that. But in the energy. So now he's going into his most spiritual self, his God self. That's his North Node, which is so cool when you think about when we're talking about astrology, because astrology shows you how these energies are working with you and the points in time and which energies are working with you through the transits, like through every time the moon rotates, things like that. When Saturn, like right now, Saturn is in Pisces. When Saturn moves into Pisces, what it means. So your spirituality, Pisces, Saturn is what the taskmaster, right? Saturn is the timekeeper, the law, if you will. Okay. But it teaches you how Saturn in your chart is working, how you're working with this planet, how this planet is working with you through the energy of Pisces. So through your spirituality, okay? So this is the good part about astrology, what it helps you to tap into within yourself, how you working with these energies and how these energies are working with you. Now with numerology is the power of numbers. All the numbers that are around you. It's the reason why we're in this matrix. Everybody wants to get to know what it really means, what these numbers really mean, and how these numbers help you to ascend to a new level. So before I separated from my ex-husband, my last child that I was pregnant with is when I had my very first spiritual experience. The I would say with going into a different realm, being like taken into a different realm and stuff like that. And so um after I had that experience where I felt like I had walked through a portal, I didn't feel, I know I walked through a portal. I know I was not asleep. And I was telling myself as I was walking through the portal, what is going on? I know I'm not asleep, right? So these things, when that happened, and mind you, I woke up 6 hours later. It was like when I went when it all happened, and then when I woke up, it was dark. So when that happened, it caused me to have what I felt like was my first awakening. This is where I had like actually started to do my own research. So I would research one thing, but then be guided to something else. So that's how I became I got guided to life path numbers. I started seeing numbers everywhere after this happened. I just started seeing numbers everywhere, and I would see the same number, and I would be like, this gotta mean something because I'm in a whole new place. I'm seeing it night and day. I'm seeing it at random. I'm talking about this is an everyday thing. Like it was like being like, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I'm like, okay, this is this has to mean something. So I went and I started doing my own research about the number. I just up and decided one day, let me just Google what does 420 mean. Something just was like Google it. And so I Googled it, and what it was basically saying was that you're on the right path, because I had all of these questions in my mind, like, am I doing the right thing? Because I was separating from my husband. I'm thinking like, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I making a mistake? Am I gonna be okay? Like I went through all of these questions, and I didn't have the answers to them. And it wasn't that the answers wasn't being given to me. What I didn't realize is that I was being guided, and the number 420 was one of those guides that I had, that was helping me to, like, get my attention to so that I could get the message. And so when I got to 420, then I started Googling all of the numbers that I was seeing, the 1111, it's just everything. And then I was led into life path numbers, because every time I read the angel number, it would say, this relates to life path number 7, life path number 6. And I was like, what is a life path? And I'm like, what is all of this stuff? Like, where did this come from? So when I got to life path numbers, I did my calculation, and I'm like, they like, okay, you're a life path number 8. Now I want to know how you got that. How, where, like, how did we get to an 8? And my birthday is this, like, something ain't clicking with me. So I'm like, okay, how did they get there? So then I went into, they have these things under there where you can go and you can actually see how they broke it all the way down. And I'm thinking to myself, like, now this is cool, like, this is really
Mhm.
cool. So I started doing everybody's birthday. If I saw you, I didn't care if we was in a grocery store, I started doing everybody's birthday and just telling them their life path number. Like, that had to have been my semi-mission at that time, because everybody that came into the house, young, old, I did it on my mom and daddy. Then I started to, it was like certain phases of this ascension, I could only have certain information. So at that time, I would see that there was like a piece of the puzzle that I wasn't seeing. I could
Mhm.
see it, but I still couldn't actually get it to fully come in as a download. So I would be like, okay, there's something else going on. Then I separated from my husband, and then I met my divine partner. Now, this is where the shit gets juicy, because I picked up numerology again, because I wanted to know why the hell I had why this connection was so, like, it felt so intoxicating. Like, I was engulfed in it. So I would be like, okay, why is this like this? And for some reason, I felt like the answers would come through our birthdays. So I did his birthday first, and I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, a life path number 5. I never read up on the 5 because I never really came across 5. And so I did it, and then some just said, put your birthday beside his and do the numerology. Once I did that, then I started to notice, like, oh shit, this is it's something else going on here, because and we are 6 years apart, but when you do the numerology on our birthdays, our life path numbers line up every year. So every year we have been the same life path number. And so I was like, okay, that's another part of the ascension where I had a piece of it, but I didn't have all of it, and I knew I didn't have all of it. So then I just started doing random people's birthday. Right? I would do their birthday, and then some just said, do this year too. So I started doing this year too. And it was like, oh, now I'm seeing, like, where they are, right? Like, from the past to the future, like, to the present moment. And I'm seeing, like, not only that, but I'm seeing past lives now. Now I'm like, my sister's friend came over, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we sitting upstairs and we just talking, and I'm doing my sister's hair at the same time. And something kept saying, do her birthday, her friend, do her birthday. And I'm like, give me your birthday. She was like, what my sister, like, she's really good with numbers. Just let her do it. I do her birthday, and I do the birthday, and then I do the birthday with the year that we were in at the time. And I was able to see now that if you look on here, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. You're probably not
No. Mm-mm.
gonna. Dang. I wish I could show it, but maybe if I write it bigger. I'm just gonna outline. Okay. I'm just gonna outline this. Oh, maybe it will.
Mm-mm.
No.
It's blurred.
Okay.
I think because your
Well,
back is blurred. It's
I
blurred.
know. How do I unblur it?
You can't do it in here.
Okay. Well, so I started to realize that, okay, if you add up all of the numbers and then you get a connecting number that you still have to break down right before you get like a regular broken all the way down number. So you got 10, you got to break it down to a 1, right? So that connecting number, that 10, tells me the age the of the last life that person lived.
Mm-hmm.
Tells me the age of when they died. And so I started realizing, I told her, I said, do you know that you died at the age of 13 in a past life? And I was channeling so hard to where I wasn't even afraid to say it to her. And her eyes just got really big. And I was just like, she was like, I always have felt like a 13-year-old. She said, I always tell my mom, like, you treat me like I'm 13. Said, I always be like, no, I don't want, like she said, she even to the way she eats, this was like, she was like, I always have felt like I have been stuck at 13. So that gave me another. There is these numbers, basically what I'm trying to tell you is that these numbers are codes to your DNA, and they help to unlock things that have been locked away from you for a very long time. And we talking about this could be lifetimes,
Mm-hmm.
not just in this life, but this could be lifetimes that this information has been locked away from you. It's also unlocking information from your ancestors
Mm-hmm.
through your DNA. So she gave me insight on what these numbers was telling me, like they were telling me a story. I was able to tell a person, well, you drowned last time, are you afraid of water? You know what I'm saying? Because it comes up through, it's like you opening up a portal into your Akashic records, and now you can see. It's like now you can see, but you can only see what you can handle. You can only see what it is that you need in the moment. See, the Akashic Records is just not an open library where you can just walk in there and whenever you want to and grab a book. You know what I'm saying? There are certain, it's like vaults. This is what I see when I see the Akashic Records, like vaults. You, in order to get to this information, you first have to unlock this vault, and then you have to finish out this puzzle and unlock this vault, and then now you get to move on into the next vault where you get a little more information. A little more information might come through the Akashic record, and then you will be able to get that information, and then there's something else that needs to be, but it's like you can't unlock it. You have to unlock it vault by vault. And you can't do it just by walking in and saying, okay, I need this information. Now, you get a numerology reading with me. Let's say you get a numerology reading with me. Then I do your birthday, but I can only give you the information that you are able to handle. Even you get what I'm saying? Like, you receiving the information is unlocking the vault, but sometimes you need help. And so that's what it has been explained to me when it comes to the numbers, that we are literally decoding ourselves and getting the information that we need at the time that we need it. Numerology is very meticulous. I don't think meticulous is the word. Is very You know the game, where they have to go to one room in order to everybody to get out the room. Everybody had to help solve the puzzle, and
Mhm.
then like you have to. Then after you solve the puzzle, then you get to go to the next part.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's like that. It's like it's kind of like a game, but it's a it's a look into not only this dimension but other dimensions, places that you don't know that you may have been, fears that you have now needing to be cleared out so that you can overcome it, so that you can get to the next level. It's like all of these different things numerology helps to unfold. And because we are made up of numbers, these, like your birthday, I always wonder, like, why do we need to know what time we was born? Like, why is that important? You don't put that on the job application. You don't do none of that. So it's like, why do we need to know what time was born? The reason is because that time is a code. All time is a code. That's what time is. It's codes. So that's what numerology kind of like helped with me. Some people didn't do way more than that with the information that is given through the birthday, just opening up this portal, and being able to have a peek in, but like with me, it's things that need to be healed that's gonna come up, things that need to be removed, things that need to come out, like things that are no longer serving you that need to be removed. Or maybe it might be a message of the abundance that you have coming in, the favor that you have over your life, things like that. Now with human design is like, I found that on accident too. I don't It's like when you get to another timeline, more information opens up to you and you get to see how these dynamics are working in your relationships. Okay, with the human design, I'm a projector. I'm a double projector, which is the 5-1. So I'm a double projector, which means that projectors are like the guides of humanity. Like we're here as guides. Um, we are. It's almost kind of too like you kind of are a mirror too. Hey. It's almost like you kind of like a mirror too, where people are able to kind of see themselves, but also they are also able to project very hard on projectors. And so when I came across this, I'm like, okay, now I got to know what he is, like, what is he? Does this say we're compatible? Like, I was so deep into that part to where I wanted to know, like, does this go across all boards? Like, is this something that we like? If it's a divine connection, it's gonna show up here too. Is basically what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
So when okay, he's a manifesting generator. Okay, well, that makes us very compatible in projector and manifesting generator, right? But it
And
also comes with a lot of learning too, because projectors often run like generators. They want to do. They think that they are supposed to be doing, but that is not accurate with a projector. Generators have that energy. They have that energy in the sacral chakra so that they can keep going like that. They can rest for a little while and then keep going, get back at it. They can do a lot of things at one time. Me, on the other hand, as a projector, that's not what I do, because human design, like numerology, works with your past lives, your present life, where you've been, how you got there, like things like that. Astrology is the where the stars were born when you at the time, I mean, where the stars were at the time you were born. Human design tells you how you work your energy and how you've been working outside of your design. Okay. So that was like, okay, so I've been using my energy in the wrong way. So it says that projectors, they are to wait on the invitation. And I couldn't understand that. I was like, what are they talking about? Because no, what are we saying? They was like, okay, the reason why you wait on the invitation is because often you give somebody some advice, or you give them something that they didn't ask for, and then you receive a like a chaotic pushback, or you receive like it's there, your what you're saying is not received by the other person, basically. And so I started to think on that shit. I'm like, so this is why I get those reactions when I do that. It made so much sense. And so by looking at that, I was like, okay, I can get this. See, I don't have that sacral energy. So what he told me was that I use the energy of other people, not on purpose, or not like this is just the makeup and how it works. So basically, when I want to work with somebody, right? Or somebody wants to work with me because I'm waiting on the invitation. When somebody invites me in and say, "Hey, can you do my birth chart for me?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." That's a formal invitation. And so when I do that, that person most likely is is a generator, or a manifesting generator, or something of that sort. And I'll notice how I will have so much energy, like so much energy running through me. And it's because this person is lending me their energy so that I can give them a message, so that I can give them some type of guidance in some type of way. And I was like, okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Projectors are also supposed to take naps. That made sense. I was like, okay, so this is why I always feel like I need a nap, in order so I can keep, like, because I don't have that sacral energy, it's hard for me to keep going like that. So sometimes, like 3 days out the week, I come home and I literally take a nap in the middle of the day, because I need that nap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need it in order to, like, be able to be me, basically. And so it made a lot of sense. So that's why I gravitated towards um human design. And when my partner's human design, his human design says that he's supposed to do multiple things, and if he's not doing multiple things, then he doesn't feel like he's being himself. He's working out of his design. That made sense. I'm like, okay, now this makes a lot of sense. That it says that they are supposed to do trial and error. Makes sense. He always says, I feel like I make 10 steps forward, then I'm making 11 steps backwards. Yeah, because they can't skip steps. You get what I'm saying? So the universe is working with them to work with their energy in that way. It shows them how they're off balance if they are not doing anything. Also, if they stop moving around, they get sick. These are people that have to exert that energy, because if they're not using all of that sacral energy, it becomes stuck energy, which causes illness, right? So that also made a lot of sense, because my mama was also a generator. She was yeah, she was a generator. And so that also made sense too, because once my mama stopped working, that's when, like, a couple of years after that, that's when she started to get sick, because she wasn't doing like, wasn't really doing anything. And she would say, I'm finna go back to work. And it made me think about how all, elderly people, how they be like, they be in the house for a good year off of retirement. Then they like, I gotta go do something. I gotta go do something. You know what I'm saying? So it started to make a lot of sense on how we use our energy. And so me tapping into that helped me to understand my partner, and understand that I'm not supposed. Don't tell him that he needs to focus on one thing. It makes sense. Like, allow him to do the things that he's doing, because that's what he needs to do in order to get, do what he needs to do, basically. So yeah.
And I don't know what my human design is, but I have to do multiple things at one time. Now I
Yeah.
don't get sick if
That's
I'm not,
generator and manifesting generator. Yeah.
but I get moody.
Yeah.
So the first step is like, if I'm not moving around like every day, I work 2 jobs. I can work out on the farm. I can go work out at the gym. Like today, I worked out. I did Zumba and I did Zumba and I did extreme hip hop classes with two
Yeah.
instructors.
about it.
I left there, went to the
I
gym,
can, but
and I did that, and then I worked out too. So I have to do most things. But
mhm.
my divine partner, I had to understand this about him. He can only work on one thing at a time. Like if we're on the phone, he can't talk on the phone and work. He's working and he not talking to me, or if he talking to me, he's not working. He
Mm.
can't do both. If he tries to do both, he's gonna mess something up. And at first I didn't understand, and I was like, "What you mean you can't do that? You can talk to me and work?" Like, cause in my mind it has to go like that. But I thought about it, I'm like, even in college, like I couldn't go to the library to study. Like I would have to have the TV on. One part of my brain, the way I'm looking at it scientifically, I'm looking at one part of the brain has to be going, has to be going on that's creative. The other side of the brain has to have something that's going on that's intellectual. It has to fuse those two together in order for me to feel like I'm doing something. If not, then I feel stagnant, I get moody, and it's a whole issue. So I have to have things going on. But I do understand people who like they don't have to. Like they ain't gotta have nothing going on with one thing at a time. Like they cool. And then you put that on there. Going back to the numerology, Galactic Honey, because I see like for me, I see numbers as like masculine and feminine. Like I see a 7, I see masculine. I see a 9, I see masculine. I see an 8, I see feminine. I see a 6, I see feminine. Like ever since I was a little girl, when I started learning how to write my numbers, I said, "Ooh, this a boy." Ooh, this a girl. Like I would write a 3, it's like, "Ooh, this a
Yes,
girl."
they do have those energies. Yes.
And just like the alphabet. So when I see a B, I think about female. Like I see female energy. I see C. I see a man trying to come after. The B is the woman going to C, and then I see E and F as like masculine energy. So I'm seeing those as energies
And those are
between the
numbers too.
masculine and the feminine. Like I see, I've always seen the numbers and letters as those type of frequencies. So going back to numerology, like even looking at it from the frequency perspective of not really talking about gender per se, but just talking about the energy of the feminine nature and the masculine nature within those years, would you say like, hey, if this is if this is your 3 year, then you're gonna be more yin. You know, if this is your 9 year, you're gonna be more yang. Like, have you seen that, or does that like make sense within people looking at their numerology within their birthday for a certain year?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And see, with you seeing it like that, you probably have a gift of something like where you know how you read and like how I read the numbers, you probably reading them like frequencies, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
by the frequency that they're carrying at the moment, because I have noticed that I will feel a masculine energy in the numbers, but I don't feel it like to where it's like it's not like this 9 is always a masculine number for me. It's always sometimes like depending on what the energy is, it will come out as feminine to me. But what was the other question?
Now I was saying, does it matter within the year? Like if this, just say it's 2023, and for somebody's birthday, this may be their 9 year, 7 year, maybe. Does that play out for them to be more yang, for them to be more out and about and extroverted in that
It
year?
does.
Yeah.
Because that 9 is the number of Sagittarius. So they would be more outgoing that year. They would meet a lot more people that year. They might travel a lot in that year. So, and it's also the number of humanitarianism too. And so it can kind of like flip and flop. I would definitely see it if in that text, I would definitely see it as a masculine number. I would see it as very masculine, being very open, being confident, being, out there fiery like that. But I read them kind of like in signs, whereas you read them kind of like in as in masculine and feminine aspect, which is really kind of which is That's really like neat because I don't really like. I just feel the masculine energy or the feminine energy. I never looked at the individual numbers like that. That's pretty cool. Um, that's pretty cool on that. That like kind of gave me like a little bitty download about that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it would be that. It would definitely be a masculine energy. You
Hmm.
definitely can see it in the numbers,
Like even
individually and as a whole.
like looking at like even with my partner looking at his numerology for just looking at his birthday. You know, I just look his birthday or I just look at his age right now. Like sometimes for me, I won't go as taking all the numbers and adding, but I just look at okay, how old are you this year? Oh, okay.
Yep.
This
Mhm.
plus this is what? Okay, this is this type of energy, and then this is you know, I'll take it within just the age of the person. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you 16, oh 7. Okay, so maybe you may be more of that masculine 7 type of energy. Oh, you're 15, 6. Okay, you might be, you know, this looking at it like that.
Mhm.
Like, do you see a cross comparison between numerology and human design?
Yes, because human design also works on numbers too. You have gates. They have gate 33 in the human design chart. The numbers are important too, and I never actually did it, but I bet if I was to add the numbers in the human design chart, it would tell me a whole lot about that person too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I believe that the numerology is definitely important because it all stems from your birthday. That's why I do birthdays because it literally all stems from your birthday. You do numerology chart with your birthday, you do astrology chart with your birthday, you do human design chart with your birthday. It all stems from your birthday. That is the foundation of it. So yeah,
Now
most
going into like I'm thinking on the like the connection, like with the divine partnership.
mhm.
Like utilizing like a lot of people are familiar like you said with astrology, like most people are familiar looking at the horoscope growing up and looking in the paper like what is my day gonna be like today. So a lot of people kind of, and they always have these little fun little compatibility things on the website between birthdays, but one that I feel like that is being introduced as new is the human design. So looking at one's human design, and you more, expert in human design because I haven't looked up anything on human design at all. Like I just don't understand it. It don't make sense to me. But looking at human design, like, do you see like if I'm looking at, compatibility within a connection? Just say someone who, just wants to know, maybe they just in their first year dating and they feel the magnetism. They've gone through all of the things that we've already shared before, looking at the human design of who they are, and then looking at the human design of their connection. Will that give them the opportunity to make like not just an adjustment but an awareness
Mhm.
within them of how to go about looking at the connection for one, and then two, like how can you take, like I know you was looking at your years with your divine connection, and each one of the years you all were on the same frequency when it came down to the numbers. They both of y'all were on the same vibratory energy on the numbers for each year. For
Mhm.
human design, is this something that's progression,
Yes.
or is it something like if you are a manifesting generator, you're just going to be a manifesting generator? Because with numerology
Oh
astrology,
yeah.
y'all those progressing, and you can get your like progress chart. But in
Mhm.
human design, I don't know if there's a way for us to look at the progression of your human design and what that looks like from like, hey, this is 43-year-old Dina right now, but as I do this, that, and the third, what would my progression be when I'm 53-year-old Dina? So how does that work?
They do. Okay, you have people who go into human design way deeper, which I have not tapped into because I'm still learning human design. But as of the human design is how you use your energy. So it's going to tell you the negative ways you use your energy. It's going to tell you the positive ways that you use your energy. It's going to tell you like what are things that you shouldn't do. Just like with my partner, I can ask him a question, but if the question is not asked in a certain way, he doesn't receive it. I probably won't get it. Wasn't it like I won't get an answer because he won't know how to answer it. So I will have to ask, and I tested it. Like you, it literally the progression is in the energy that you are emitting to your partner is more energetic. Um, where you would be like, okay, you just like how you are learning yourself, of course you want to learn how to learn your partner as well. So it gives you that insight into how your partner is using their energy, what frustrates them, what is going on, like what are you seeing when they are out of alignment with with their energy signature. So it lets you know where you can help your partner in some type of way, or where you can give your partner some type of grace, because this in you can test it. Like these are things that you can actually test, and you will see that this stuff really does exist and it really does matter. Because I could ask something like, if I ask something but it's not a complete, it has to be like what is the way I gotta ask? I have to say like I have to ask it in a question. Like I can't just be like it's a way that you have to do it in order to get them to respond to you, because in some way it makes them draw back if you ask in a certain way. We are talking about people that are not all healed, like just like projectors have their cons too, their pros and their cons too. So um with human design, it gives you like the energy your partner is giving you, the energy that they're giving, the energy that they're emitting out into the universe. What can I do in order for certain like for my partner to be um more aware of their energy? Like I started just telling him like you not supposed like, if as a projector, this is what I mean. As a projector, if I say you're not supposed to do that,
Mm-hmm.
then he's like, what? And rebels, and then he goes and does that thing. But if I come to him as a projector and I say, you know what I love most about you, do you mind if I tell you right quick? And I tell him, but I also tell him, I really like the way you do that. Can you add this to it? Because I really think that these two will go well together. And it'll be like he'll come to the conclusion on his own. Okay, I really don't need to go do that thing. I can do it like this. Like it's more of a way that you can help your partner also, be a better them in a certain way. Because sometimes it's not because it's like the way they respond is not because they are trying to be mean or trying to like ignore you. It's that it might be the energy that they're carrying, like the energy that they put out. Like it goes deep, it goes into compatibility. You can do a compatibility chart with your numerology, I mean with your human design. You can see how you and your partner's energy work well together, what doesn't work well together. It goes all the way from, it goes by your actual human design. So I'm a 5-1 projector, so it'll go by that 5-1, it'll match them up, and it'll tell you, what is good for the relationship, what is not good for the relationship, how they'll respond to this, how you'll respond to this. And it tells you like a projector and the manifesting generator, they really need each other. Like not in a way that like, but energetically, their energies work very well together. They're very good in business. It'll tell you they can be your business partner too. Like it'll give you all of these things. Like he was saying something about the reflector. Okay. I have a daughter who is a reflector. I have an auntie who is a reflector. So what I have noticed about reflectors is that they can see what we cannot see because they are reflecting their environment at all times. These are your children that, may have certain, sensitivities to certain things. Like they reflect in the inside of you all the time. Like they will reflect it back to you. They're gonna reflect like what we can't see. One time, oh, I need to plug my computer up. One time I had we went into these public bathrooms at the love station. We were traveling, and my baby was like, "Mama, I don't want to use the bathroom in the stall because the love station has those automatic flushing restroom toilets."
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, "Mama, no, I don't want to. I don't like to use them things because I know they be watching me." And it made me think because I understood that she's a reflector and that she's reflecting her environment. It
Mm-hmm.
also helped me with my children. Knowing how to use their energy also helped me to be like, girl, go on back in there and don't even that ain't nobody looking at you. I could have said it like that, but knowing that she's a reflector, it made me actually stop and think like, you know what? I never really thought about that. And that could absolutely be fucking true that
Mm-hmm.
they are watching us every time we bend over in them with them little things because it does look like a camera,
Yeah, it does.
the sensor. Like so, it made me think like, okay, so from that point on, we decided we was gonna put tissue over it so they can't see nothing, and it
Mm-hmm.
made her feel more comfortable, and so I was able to handle her in a way that was like healthy to the way she carries her energy. Like ignoring that with the reflector is like a blow to the gut because they're like, you're not listening to me,
Mm-hmm.
you know so it helped me to understand that too. So it's all relationships. Human design will help you with, will help you
Exactly.
understand.
Because knowing the astrology, because I can only imagine a Cancer or water sign and,
And she's
and
a Leo.
a reflector. That'd be too much.
I'm telling
Like
you.
you'll be feeling and reflecting so much that it just becomes too much. So
Yeah.
that would possibly turn somebody into schizophrenia. Like that's a lot.
You see why they teaching this now. Yes,
Yeah, because
yes,
if that's if you reflect and you feeling that, like that's just a whole lot. But I feel like even with the
exactly.
human design, it seems like to me they've taken a compilation of the numerology and the astrology and then putting
Hmm.
into like the overall map for an individual. And this is like the roadmap, the energetic roadmap from the zodiac and from the numerology all into one. So you can understand from an energetic perspective the compilation of the individual rather than looking at certain aspects, because like
Hmm.
with astrology, you'll be looking like, okay, this is where I'm going to, this is where I am, this is my moon, this is like, it's kind of individualized until you learn how to bring it all full circle. But
Yeah.
it seems like in the human design, it's brought the energy of the individual, it kind of like the way that they function as a human being in this
Yeah.
realm out. So you'll know, hey, like I know, like with my partner, I always make fun because I'll be like, it's almost like driving with Miss Daisy. So whenever I drive and we take turns driving, he's a passenger driver. And so it's like my daddy like that too. Like you have to, it's pretty much, I don't think they can control it, but you have to
Mhm.
go the way that they want you to go. You got to drive the way they want you to drive. You got to look this way. You got to maneuver the vehicle the way they want
Manifest
you
the
to.
generator.
So when I get into the car with him, I go ahead and ask him, what you want me to do? He be like, it's gonna, no, I can't drive the way I want to drive. And so what I told him is, it's the way that he shares what I should do. So he'll say, "Well, if it was me, I would." And I was like, "I don't like that," because I'm like, "You saying if it was me, you really trying to tell me what to do. So just gonna tell me what to do. Don't say if it was me, I would have went down." 385 to Riverdale and then got off there. But okay, like it was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
no,
That
what you
yeah.
just gonna tell me? I said, so when you get in the car, just go me and give me the directions because if you gonna say if it was me, I would have. You just trying to tell me what to do anyway.
Yeah.
It's like somebody saying, I ain't trying to get in your business, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you trying to get in my business. So don't
Yeah.
say if it was me, I would. Just act like it's me. I'm you. Let's do it. What I need to do. So even possibly looking at his human design on that communication aspect of how he shares direction, but the cool part about it is the fact that, and I've done this in past relationship, it would have been somebody else. I've been like, oh, don't talk to me. You can't. It would have turned into an argument. And
Mm-hmm.
so I know the connection with us is different and stronger because when he can say something that would be like, well, just gonna tell me what to do. Don't be doing that because you're really talking about me. I would get angry at somebody else, but with him, it's funny to me. Like he'll do stuff and it's just funny. And vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. Like I'd be saying stuff like I told him today, like, I heard from you today, like I feel disconnected. He's like, what's wrong? He said, well, I don't want you to feel like that. So whatever it is you think, I'm like, he said, don't change who you are. And so it's different because we don't want each other to change, but within the design and makeup of who I am and who he is, we're learning how to interact with each other. And maybe what my shortcomings are, I'll compliment and be able to bring him in, and vice versa on what my shortcomings are, that he's able to comfort and make me feel safe. So,
Yeah.
really taking more time into human design, I feel like will give people the opportunity to look at how the dynamic of the relationship will flow when you know the way the person actually functions and works. Because if you're in a household, if you living with your partner, whether you all married or a spiritual partnership, whatever, then knowing the human design to me sounds like you get to know the way this person is going to run in the household. You don't know how this person actually is going to be as a parent. Like this is the way that their energy goes out. So you are learning, hey, they're gonna be this type of parent, or they're gonna be this type of husband or this type of wife. Let me already know this. And I feel like a lot of these relationships that are going sour, leading to divorce or disconnection, like we said before, really weren't supposed to be because they weren't divine connections. And then two, a lot of people not doing the work, which this is part of the work that we talk about, when you become enlightened. Like it's more than just yourself, knowing your partner's numerology, astrology, and human design, and going through like, okay, and you ain't got to
Mm-hmm.
be, all deep down into it, but knowing just some key factors that influence the dynamic of the partnership, that would be first and foremost very key to the way that you all are going to interact and communicate for the long haul as you all are going to evolve. So even looking at the progression of, that's why I brought up the progression, because yes, you want to know where you are right now, but as I progress and evolve, because spiritual partnership, divine connection is always evolving. So as I evolve and I may move out of being a manifesting generator, I may move into being more of a reflector.
Mm-hmm.
Now, question, why is the reflector the rarest type?
Because they like in the 1 percentile. They don't. It's not a lot of them. They are the. That's the. And I feel like it's not a lot of them because a lot of them probably have been deemed as problem children, mental illnesses, stuff like that. So it's not really a lot of um, reflectors. They are so sensitive. Like I really think that they are like I think they the real star seeds. Like they the ones that's like here for the first time because they so sensitive to how you get to a
Mhm.
new place and then you so sensitive to that place. So
They're not
I
really earth
feel like,
born, so they may not
yeah,
be
like,
really earth born. They may be from, or this may be their, they've only had a few lifetimes on Earth.
yeah.
So just like when you go to a new restaurant, be like, what is this? What is this? Or a new country, be like, what is the customs here?
Hmm.
What am I supposed to do? Like, I don't like. I'm skeptical. I don't,
Yeah.
So they may be. So now with the human design and talking about the reflector, would that be something that evolved out of during the
Mm-mm.
this lifetime, or would it be something they have to evolve out of over lifetimes?
I honestly don't know. I think that maybe every lifetime, just like we come back as a different sign, we come back as a different, you know, human design too, because we another being, having another experience. So I feel like probably not. You probably have like had trials, with the same human design over lifetimes, but I feel like you probably would be different because you need this different experience in order to, ascend the next time. So I'm
So if you're a
guessing,
projector, you're going to be a projector forever within this lifetime. You don't evolve out
yeah.
of being a projector.
Mm-mm. You know, I'm a projector, you're gonna be a generator, but you just might come into a different form of, you know, not, but that from what I learned, that doesn't change. Like, you're gonna be a projector, you're always gonna be a 5-1 in this lifetime, you're always gonna be a projector in this lifetime. So that doesn't, but you evolve within like the awareness of it. You evolve within what you like. What there's always more to learn. Always more to learn, like gene keys and all of that type of stuff. There's always more to learn that's branched off from this that goes deeper, and then goes deeper like that. So I think it is like about how you evolve as a projector in this lifetime.
Mhm. Like looking at the positive and negative aspects, just like the deities and the archetypes. Like
Hmm.
you may be an archetype of Heteru, or
Yeah,
Harukabuti, but you may be only looking at those positive aspects, and you evolve into those positive aspects of a projector
yeah,
instead of going the backward way and backpedaling and doing more of the negative aspects. So you can use the human design to progress within that human design of what you are, more on the positive end, but you don't evolve out of it.
yeah.
So,
See, the like as I was a projector, I was using my energy wrong for most of my life. So in most of my life, I've been working like a generator.
mm-hmm,
So you experience other human designs within your own design, but those designs teach you that you're out of balance. So I would notice that when I go, it doesn't make me feel like I get very irritable, like irritation and not feeling like myself, like, the emotions, all of that is a sign that I'm not working within my design. So
mm-hmm,
that's a sign that I've done too much. I've done too much out of my design, and it comes up so that I can get back into alignment and get back into my design.
mm-hmm.
So it's like those going into other human designs, like, like how I was working as a generator, going into those things helped me to stay in alignment. I had to experience those first before I could experience the fact of my own human design. So I know how to not go into, how I know what makes me out of alignment, what's putting me out of alignment like that.
Now going back into the numerology, um, for you all who may not know how to do your life path, real simple. It's just your birthday plus your date of birth, so whatever day, if you were born on the 7th or 6th, and then your year. So you add those numbers together. And if they come out to be like two, to say you get a 1 and a 6, that's a 7. Sometimes you'll get master numbers. You may get a 3 3 or 22, and then you can go from there with knowing your life path number. So, and then you can do the same thing for your partner, which taking the month, the day, and the year, and then adding that up. And then you can go back and do the current year. So if you want to do the year you were born, like I was born 1980, so I do my birthday with 1980, and then I'll do the current year when I want to go back and do the life path. What is my life path for this year?
Right.
So usually in the spring or however you all like to do it, like if it's your solar return or March the 22nd for the spring equinox, or if you do it like January the 1st, however you want to do it, I always do it for the year and then see what energy is dominating your year with that life path number for the year, and then you can do it for the year that you were born. And it's good because I know, like you said, for every year you was looking at you all's life path number, and they've been in sync. So you may want to look at that for yourself. You can even look at it like we was talking about for your children, for any divine connection, looking at it for maybe not just only your spouse, but also for a parent or someone that you're close to. Even seeing like how is this dynamic, even work together. You may have best friend, like how we feel like sisters or brothers. How is this? And then looking at those life path numbers from that, and then going off of that energy for each one of the years that you all, that we're here moving forward. Anything else you want to share before we close it out, Galactic
No, that's basically.
Honey? Yep. So, knowing your numerology for yourself, your divine connections, knowing your astrology, very important. Of course, we know. And then the human design, that's a newbie for me. Maybe a newbie for you all. But definitely research your human design. But then I want to look not only the human design, but go and look at all of these. And I'm sure you're going to see within yourself some overlap in the way that your energy goes out between your astrology and then your life path. You'll see how it all kind of flows together with your natal chart, your divine partner's natal chart, their human design. And then it gives you more of awareness, and it also empowers you because now you know how to communicate with your partner's energy, their emotions, the way that you all connect. So it's giving it more substance and building a better foundation for you all moving forward on how to really coddle this energy, because everybody's emotions are very vulnerable, especially when you're in a new relationship. So if you're learning how to really interact with your person, with your partner, then you can be more aware of how to evolve the relationship for the longevity of you all being together, and not just for the right now and going by the magnetism of it all.
I very much agree with that.
Well, thank you all so much, Master Creator. Shout out to Master Creator for joining today. High
Sure.
frequencies, and really appreciate you all who are tuning in. We didn't get a chance to do one last week, so thank you for joining us this week on the Numerology, Astrology, and Human Design. And we will see you all next week with a new topic around the divine connections, having these conversations for the witches and warlocks. See you next week.